to the Venture Room. My name's Jamal and we've got a very special guest here today. We're going to talk about rent to rent and really how you can start property with little to no money, which I know everyone wants to hear about. So if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you for having me on. So my name's Troy Badaloo. I'm the director of TK Lifestyle Properties and also Luxury Stays. Both companies, they're property management companies. And just to say the mission for Luxury Stays as well, we're currently on a mission to over-deliver on the expectations of like tens of thousands of guests by perfecting the luxe living experience within our accommodations. And yeah, that's pretty much an introduction.
Perfect. So how are you feeling? You feeling good, positive?
Yeah, man. Yes, it's a good sunny day. We're out here. It's a Saturday. You know, the week it's been going amazingly. Just wins on wins. So yeah, looking to just continue smashing the rest of this weekend and also just go into the next year smashing it as well. So
100%. I like the positivity, the mindset is really good.
It's gotta be, man.
I can see you're a gym man because you're looking looking big.
Yeah, it's gotta be done, bro.
All right. So I want to take it right back to the beginning, if that's okay. Just to like back to your childhood to really get to know the person and you know what made you you.
Okay.
So let's take it back to your childhood and let's hear that story.
Okay, so childhood. Childhood.
What school did you go to?
School, good question. So went to a school called Colton. So Colton Primary School. It's in Gloucester.
Okay.
To be honest, in school I was like, I would not ever imagine me actually doing these kind of things, right? And also being out there talking to people because I was a very shy kid.
Really?
Yeah, real talk. This is something that probably people wouldn't know, you know, because I'm out here talking now. But yeah, I was a very shy kid. And also raised by a single mum as well. So very sort of disciplined in that element and also went to church as well on a weekly basis. So yeah, very sort of in that zone. And in terms of school as well, I really loved maths as well. School-wise, I was a pretty good boy.
I like maths as well. I feel like you're either good at maths or English. People aren't usually good at both.
Yeah.
Were you good at both?
English was my weak point, to be honest. Yeah. But maths 100% strong on that. But yeah, so that was a school.
Nice. Were you quite strong at like probably primary school, secondary school? Were you quite like good at exams and stuff? You got good grades?
Yeah. So GCSEs, really good at that, to be honest.
Okay.
I think it was one of those ones where it was sort of natural as well in terms, definitely with maths, to be honest. English wise wasn't 100% natural and I had to put more time and focus into that. But because of sort of the discipline that my mum put into me in terms of like going to church every single week as well and then just making sure that I do my homework and stuff, I think that really helped as well to making sure that...
So you had that kind of structure at home.
Yeah,
kept you
exactly.
in line. Yeah. So who did you? I know it's you and your sister. She's a little bit younger than you, right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. 3 years younger. She is 23 years old.
Okay, you're 26.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, 26 in December. Yeah.
To go.
Yeah.
You got time, mate. I'm 30 in January, so
really?
You got some time.
You look young, to be honest. You're younger.
30's young, man.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Nah, I don't mean to say
calling me old already.
No. Listen, you're a young guy still. Yeah,
it's good. So it was you, your mum, and your sister. How was it at home? Did you get on?
So in the young days, not really. Not really. There was a few sort of fights and like disgruntlements and stuff. But like the thing is though, it's like it was like sort of a love-hate relationship because like just speaking about the church days as well, right? Me and Serena, we used to like perform in church, so we made songs and like performed to the church and stuff. So like we got on very well in terms of creating stuff together. But then also, there was like disagreements and stuff, like very small petty things, and
but that's normal though, isn't it? Because I've got 2 younger brothers.
Yeah.
The middle one winds me up. I love him to bits, but me and him, like he knows how to wind me up.
Yeah, exactly. It happens, right, doesn't it? But
it's normal, yeah.
It's relationships, sort of.
Yeah. Okay, so primary school, and I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs used to sell stuff at school.
Did you ever do like anything at primary school or secondary school?
So it was in secondary school that I sold stuff. I sold.
Wait, let's clarify what stuff that is.
Yeah, that it was BlackBerry cases. Yeah,
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, BlackBerry cases because
Yeah,
you know the time where the BlackBerries, they was like a very big trend.
It was like the iPhone now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh, you know what? There's a lot of cases out there as well. You can get cases for really cheap on China. So I was like, let me get a load of them and then come to school and start selling them. But to be honest, yeah, it made like, you know, quick profit. But I don't in that time there, I wasn't really focused on like how much. Like I wasn't really focused on like the business aspect of it. I was just focused on, okay, get something for cheap,
Yeah.
and then sell it for a bit more, and then I spent it, to be honest. Like, yeah, so. But yeah, I always had that element where I was like, you know, where can I sort of make something?
Yeah. Where do you think you got that from? Was your mum quite like entrepreneurial or like?
I mean,
or your dad, was he entrepreneurial?
Not really. My mum, I think the entrepreneur side of my mum was her doing people's hairs.
Okay.
Yeah, so she used to do people's hair at work. No, not at work, at home. So yeah, after her full-time job, she'd come home and then do people's hair. So I guess that's a side of it. My dad, he's focusing on being an electrician, but wasn't really spending a lot of time with him. He was like he
was working a lot.
Yeah, working away.
Yeah.
So yeah, there wasn't. I mean, I guess that's where it could have sparked from, maybe.
Do you think it was quite hard when obviously your dad wasn't always at home? Was it quite difficult?
Yeah, I think.
Like, was there anything like you felt it was missing or?
Yeah, you know what? I say that. I think definitely, for sure, just having that male figure to look up to.
Yeah,
and I think this is what, in school, because I did start to go on the wrong track in school. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, it was like year 9 time. So up until that point, I was like a goody two shoes. But got into the wrong crowd, and then like technically they was the sort of male influence in my life, right? So I was like, okay, this is how you're supposed to.
And back then it's quite cool, isn't it? The gang culture seemed cool when you're a little kid.
Exactly. So I think that's probably the biggest bit, not having sort of male figure to look up to into the right thing. You can get sort of.
Was your mum quite strict as well with you all?
I mean, she tried her hardest, to be honest, but she's not really the strict kind of person. Like if you was to see her, you'd be like, you know, she's got a heart of gold. She's like probably the nicest person, to be honest, in the world. So like to get her being strict and stuff, it wasn't her that was really bringing the discipline in. She tried her best, 100% tried her best, but she wasn't the kind of person to be, you know, putting the foot down. You know,
but your dad was more strict then.
Yeah,
okay,
that's right.
Okay,
that's
cool.
right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So in secondary school, so you started selling BlackBerry cases in year 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then did you do anything else in terms of like entrepreneurial stuff?
Sold some Swagways. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. That was like one of my first business lessons as well, to be honest.
You got to go into it now, man.
Oh my days. So I must have sold a couple Swagways that I probably bought them for around about £100, sold it for 200 or it was 300 or something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, this is amazing. Like there's so many people that want them. Let me just go bigger and get some more. So I think.
Wait, where were you getting them from? Alibaba?
It was I believe it was on like eBay, like some supplier on eBay that was like from China or something.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, then I got this message on Facebook. Someone trying to sell, I think it was 8 of them for like £400 or something.
Okay.
Right? It's like, oh yeah, you got. Now I'm saying this, it's just so stupid, but literally, they had it, and it was like, oh, if you just transfer the money, right?
Oh,
we'll send it to you. It's coming from China. I was like, oh, listen, I'm gonna make 200 per Segway, and I'm only getting it for £400. I'm getting 8 of them. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's transfer the money. Ask them when it's gonna come now.
Yeah.
They disappeared.
Wait, do you know what? The similar story happened to me as well, because I was back in about year 9 actually. Mm-hmm. I was importing stuff from Alibaba.
Yeah.
And selling on eBay. And then it's back when iPhones started to really get popular many years ago. And basically I ordered like 10 iPhones for like £100 each.
Yeah, okay.
And they were selling for about 800, 900, whatever.
Boy.
But they sent me just the boxes and like a dummy of the iPhone, innit?
Yeah.
So I've given them all this money and I've got this fake dummy, like, and I tried to get them back, but they pulled their listing down of Alibaba.
Yeah.
So it's like the first time I got stung. So
yeah, it's a good lesson, right? But it's like at that point, it's like, okay, wow, I feel annoyed about that. That's a big hit, right? But yeah, it happens, man.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
happens.
of course. And what do you think was like the hardest point for you growing up, like the bit? Because I always feel like there's a struggle that makes you so ambitious.
Hardest point.
It's quite a hard question.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, locate the actual bit, to be honest.
It's all been smooth, the whole.
Nah, it hasn't been smooth. There's been a lot of points. But like, oh wait, it's a good question. So a hard point. I think a hard point for myself has definitely been. I think a big one was definitely like having the male figure to look up to, right? So like not having that, I think it sort of made things a bit harder in terms of like what's the right thing to do, you know? Because I'm looking up, because in like whilst I was living with my mum, my sister, like, I'm the only guy in the house, right? So it's like, and obviously I'm not old enough to be the man of the house, right? But it's like technically, for some reason, I had that expectation where I'm supposed to be the man of the house, but I'm like, I don't know what the man of the house is supposed to look like,
And
right?
you're just a kid, aren't you? So,
yeah, exactly. So I think, getting into the wrong crowd, that definitely it affected other relationships that I had as well. And like, it's just. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think that the biggest bit in that was probably sort of getting, because like it wasn't the right crowd sort of thing. It's like it included drugs in it as well, right?
Oh, really?
And it's like just things that wasn't you wouldn't expect someone that's going to church to be doing, right? So that was something that sort of took me out of that scene.
But
right?
yeah, I get what you're saying. I feel like sometimes as well, when it's so like obviously you're religious and stuff, sometimes you do rebel. Especially year 8, year 9, you start becoming, you know yourself a bit more. And I guess that's where you slipped off and just taken the wrong path for a minute.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest sort of part that's been a challenge, because it's like that was the first point where I had like really fake friends. But when you're so close to someone and you look up to them, but realistically their motive isn't for you to like really succeed, sort of thing. And then you got the close people around you telling you this, right? But then you're not believing it because you look up to these people, right? Yeah. The way that it then breaks relationships with people that you're closest to. Yeah, I'd say that's probably 100%. One of the biggest. I think the first hard point that I went into in terms of actually learning what are people's motives and like understanding what's actually good for you, the relationships as well and stuff. So
it's so funny because I had a similar decision as well about probably year 9. For me, the gang culture seemed pretty cool. Obviously now it's just stupid, but back then it seemed cool. And like one of my friends joined like the local gang in Croydon at the time, and I thought, it's sick. Like they look like celebrities to me. I wanted to be part of that, so I kind of joined the gang for literally like 2 weeks, and then basically I realized that it wasn't for me. Like I'm not the same as these people. Like. I want to kind of do a lot more than that. And I remember my dad actually speaking to me and saying, that friend that got me in there, he was like, you can't hang out with it anymore. So he literally stopped me from hanging out with that bad influence. Yeah. But if my dad wasn't there, maybe I would have stuck to that lane. Yeah. So it's all about, the situation.
And it's crazy that you say that as well, because this is the thing, like, as I was saying, get told that they're not good for you, but it's like for me, I couldn't see that, right? And I was just, like, I wasn't fully listening, And
also maybe your dad wasn't always around to tell you.
So he didn't really know anything about that side of things. So that's probably a big bit there. Yeah.
And then where do you think the ambition came from then? Just like, is it through obviously trying to look after your mum or?
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I think I think it probably sparked from when I was a kid, to be honest, because I like to play with Hot Wheels, right? So that's
Okay,
already
yeah.
like in terms of the car element of things,
Yeah,
right? And then also when being in church as well, actually performing songs and stuff, like I sort of knew that there was some sort of talent in me to be able to be like, okay, I can actually, like, there's potential to really make something big,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then I don't know, the drive to actually push into that, it was more around just seeing what's out there and being like, well, we can definitely get there. People have got it, so it's not impossible. So what's the steps to getting there, sort of thing. And I think it's more being curious, really. So yeah, just to bring it back, I'd say part of it was the Hot Wheels. The other part was that, like, where we was raised as well. Like, it's not like it was not in a rich class or middle class or something. It's more sort of lower class, really. So it's like, I know we can definitely make something out of this and actually get out of this and really create a better life, for my mum, because of all the hard work that she put in as well, like raising us up as kids as well. She put so much work in. I'm thinking, like, surely we can get something from all of his hard work, like work smarter, as well. So yeah, hopefully that's answered the question. I feel like I've gone a bit.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, it's really good. So just moving through, like, secondary school, where'd you go college? What was college like?
Yeah, so so I went to St. Peter's. So it was I was doing A levels there. I did maths, computing, media, and business.
Maths is hard. I did maths at A level. It's mad. I got an A. I think I got an A star at GCSE.
Yeah.
When I hit A level, man, oh my god,
it's the next level, isn't it?
It's not even maths.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was definitely a step up. I mean, looking at all of those things now, I'm just thinking, I don't use it. But I think the biggest thing about it is really the problem solving mindset. That's what I believe I've got from it, to be honest. But yeah, did that and then done an apprenticeship. So yeah, jumped into an apprenticeship, doing accounting.
You didn't do the uni route? Why didn't you do uni?
Main reason I didn't do uni is because I just wanted to get into accounting at the time, and I knew that there was a way to get into it without having to go through uni. I just wanted to start earning money as well, like straight away rather than waiting for it. That was probably the main reason, to be honest. Just to get into it that way. Yeah. 100.
I was going to ask you as well, what in terms of, like, what's the craziest business you've started, or like the weirdest business you've started and it just flopped?
The weirdest business I've started.
It's all been normal.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's been like any crazy ones, to be honest, because I did the BlackBerry cases, the Swagways. I say, if anything, that was probably the weirdest one, the Swagways. But I mean, at the time, it was a really big buzz, to be honest. Used to buy and sell cars as well. And then after that, that's when it went into the property businesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
okay.
Yeah.
I had quite a weird so when I was at uni, I might edit this one out actually.
Yeah.
But when I was at uni, obviously I've always been like you, always wanted to set up businesses and stuff. I've always set up stuff and it's failed for some reason. Mm-hmm. But I realized during freshers, obviously everyone's getting active and like sleeping with each other, whatever.
Yeah.
So there was a few occasions where like I'd be with a girl, whatever, and I didn't have like a condom available. And I was like, oh, you know what, be sick if someone can bring or deliver a condom to the room right now, because I don't want to go to the corner shop, that's awkward. So I set up like a almost like an Uber for like just condom deliveries, isn't it?
Okay.
So I literally go to the shop, buy like the whole shelf of like condoms, and then store it at my house. And then what I did is I gave a flyer out to everybody and said, call me if you need something, an emergency. And they would literally pay me to come and deliver
Well, I mean, that It is a
It's a
pretty
good
wacky
idea,
business,
isn't it?
but to be honest, I think if the demand was there, it makes sense because, as you
Yeah.
said, people are active. So why not? I mean, it's a very important thing. You don't want to start making babies out
Exactly.
here.
Stay safe, innit? But so I was making some good money with
Yeah,
that. But then
nice.
I think one of the lecturers said it's against university guidelines. You can't do it anymore. Like, so I parked it.
Oh my days, they want people having babies or something.
Yeah.
They don't want people having protection, but nah, that's crazy.
Yeah, 100. Okay, cool. So then just moving on. Before like we start looking at the property stuff, in terms of like the mindset, what would you say like the key mindset factors that you've developed and that you think entrepreneurs should develop to kind of move forward?
Whoa. Mindset. I think the biggest one is to just like it's the belief that you can actually do something, because like but without the belief you're not really gonna take the action. You just probably be there and be like, I don't know, just contemplating about it too much. But I think belief is definitely one of them in terms of mindset. Also, I mean, mindset. It's actually so big, man. Mindset. There's so many different things with mindset, but I think definitely one of the biggest things is having that belief there, and then just the actual dedication as well. I mean, would you say mindset and dedication is one thing?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Okay, so definitely the dedication, because with a lot of the things that you're sort of going through and doing, you got to make sure that whatever it is that you're picking, like you got to just follow through with it. And this is again where it comes with the belief, like faith as well, right? You just got to be like, okay, have that goal in mind, and then just don't stop going until you sort of get there, because you're going to come against like so many hurdles, so many things that's like stopping you, so many like things that it might not look that it's going to work out, but you need to have that belief and that resilience, just push through it, because I think those are definitely the biggest things.
100%.
I feel like sometimes you might feel crazy in doing it as well. You might be like, oh, I'm kind of deluded, but the thing is, it's that belief, man. It's that belief.
It's 100%. And I think that's what separates normal people from entrepreneurs like yourself, is that, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room, but you have to have the mindset and the belief. Yeah. Because there's always hurdles, man. Every route you take.
100%. 100%.
It's a lot. And I noticed that you go to the gym quite a lot. Do you think that plays a factor in?
Yeah, that's a massive. Yeah, that's a massive factor, because like it gets your body moving as well anyway, but like it helps with just continuously pushing, because there's as I said, barriers are going to be coming. You have to push through them, and like if you're active in the gym, pushing your body, like just evolving and stuff, it's sort of it really helps with the mind as well. I think I think diet as well helps, but 100% gym helps a lot as well. Well, for me personally, I think it's something that's a common thing as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Because I think with me personally, the motivation kind of goes up and down. It's not always up. And it's like when you're down, how do you keep moving forwards? And I think the gym, it sounds weird, but it just helps with that, because it just gets you going. And I feel like it releases some kind of like drive in you, like a horn. I don't know what it is, but
they say something about endorphins or something.
Yeah.
I don't fully know the study, but I believe that is correct. It releases
100.
something, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Like some powers.
Okay, so moving on, just let's talk about the property journey, how you started, what that story was.
Yeah, okay.
Because I actually, just for the audience, I think I went to Samuel Leeds property course, which is really good. And you were one of the success students. And I saw that you did that whole apartment deal, which we'll talk about a bit later. But how did that all start? Where did that start?
So how did it start? Essentially, it was like 2019, the start of 2019. In my job, I was an accountant, and someone there, I had a talk with them, and they was like, you should look into passive income, because at this time I was buying and selling cars. Like I was just on that wave in terms of I want to like make something, right? And he's like, oh, you should look into passive income. It's like, tell me to look into passive income, but not tell me what it is. So I was like, okay, let me start Googling this. So Googled it, and then come across like more property stuff, right? And then I started going on YouTube. I started seeing like Samuel Lee's videos pop up. Started seeing some winners on the Wednesdays, and this couple that inspired me, the name was Jessica and Jordan. They done rent to rent HMO, and they had a winners on a Wednesday. They like left their job, was making like 5k profit from rent to rent, and I was like, well, I want to do that. So and it was pretty inspiring at the time because like I was with my ex at the time, and it just made sense. Like they was partners, so we was partners as well. We was like, okay, we want to make something as well, so it just made sense. So then went to the crash course with Samuel Leeds, joined the academy August 2019, and then just focusing on getting rent to rent in Bristol, and that's how I sort of got into it. Someone told me about passive income, then got on to Samuel Leeds, went to his academy, and then from there getting the deals and stuff. It's just a matter of constantly doing the calls, sending out the messages, following what Samuel Lee says to do in terms of the action to actually get in there. The first deal that came on, shall I go into the first deal that came on, or did you want to know about like just how we got into the property?
Just before that.
Okay, that's cool. So that's how I got into it, sort of thing.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, because I feel like because I went to the Samuel Leeds boot camp as well, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is mindset, because obviously it's not just, it sounds easy, but it's not overnight. And there is a little hurdle, but it's all mindset. And I think that's what he teaches you on the course, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. There was a book. There's a book in there that was like Go for No, which is a big one. Because there's a lot of rejections that you got to go through. So it's like go for no, because if you keep on going for the no's, the yes is going to come. Like, don't expect the yes to come straight away, because if you expect that, that's when you'll start dipping and then being like, oh, I don't know if this is for me, sort of thing, and then just jump out of it. But
that is important, because that is I think that's the biggest thing that stops people, the fear of failure. What if it doesn't work out? What will my friends say? What's my mum gonna say? But you can't have that mindset.
Exactly. And when there's people around you as well, it's like that, because obviously at that time, it's still in the full-time job, people, they don't fully know about this. So when they know you're going on these types of courses, they're like, oh, what are you doing, sort of thing. They're like, that's not going to work. So it's really about blocking out that noise as well and then pushing through it. So it's mindset is a massive thing. Massive thing.
Okay, so then following on, what happened?
So kept on. So I was putting the letters out, making the calls to agents, making the calls to landlords. A lot of rejections, a lot of viewings getting booked in as well. And then I think we got some proposals going into agents, and there was like, again, rejections. There was like you don't pass the referencing. Also, there's like you don't what's it called? Like, you're a new company, so there's no experience, sort of thing. So there was those things that was happening as well.
Did you feel like deflated, or like did your motivation ever drop?
Listen, man, it did, because I was around people that was getting it on their first time as well. You know? So at a point I was like, is this actually for me? You know, is this actually gonna work? So I was actually going through that stage as well. But after that, it wasn't until Feb that we secured our first deal, got over the line.
So this is you and your partner, your ex, or your...
Yes, my ex, yes. And so that was from calling an agent through Rightmove, someone that was looking to sell their company. And essentially it wasn't like the straight on rent to rent, it was actually a company purchase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we was able to creatively finance buying the company. It was a no money down deal as well. Like, we didn't put our money in. We funded it with the money that was in the bank account, right? And then pay them the profits over the
in your bank account.
No, in the company bank account. So the company was purchasing.
Yeah.
There was money in that company bank account.
Okay.
We used the money in that bank account to buy the company. It's crazy, isn't it?
No, but why would they do that?
Yes. So there's 4 directors in total in the business, and essentially 2 of them wasn't pulling their weight, and then all of the work went on to this one director, right? And she just didn't want to deal with it because she just didn't want to deal with all the work that was happening. It just wasn't what she wanted to set out. Because, you know, if there's people that's meant to be responsible, then all of the responsibilities going to one person. It's a lot of stuff. She just wanted to essentially get out of it. The solution was that we took control of the company, and then just purchased it from them. And I think the reason why it worked for them is because they just wanted the money that they invested to back out, and also just didn't want to have to control the company, right? So the one problem that we solved, getting the money out, there was money in the company bank. So okay, we'll set that aside for them, for the purchase price. And then the other side was the control. So he's like, okay, we'll take control of it. We'll fill up the properties, deal with the tenants. And then, purchase the rest of the company, because it was the money in the bank account only funded like half of the purchase price. The profits from it then had to fund the rest.
Okay.
For like 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it was,
that's how you got it through.
Yeah. It was a long deal.
So I feel like this is a very important part, because for me, you see a lot of stories of people quickly going to success, but it's this zero to the starting bit is so hard and it's not easy for people. So first of all, you haven't had money to buy a property. So a lot of people struggle to get involved in property because they haven't got the deposit, the 50 or 60 grand that you need. So you've gone onto a rent-to-rent course, which allows you to take... In fact, let's explain what rent-to-rent is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So rent-to-rent is essentially, so you get control of a property from a landlord. So for example, a landlord, say they've got a 4-bedroom house. You go to the landlord and you say to them, can I rent out your property, get control of it, and essentially give you guaranteed rent for like 3 to 5 years. And then once you get the property, you then control it as a HMO, which is like a shared accommodation. So you can rent out the rooms like individually. So let's say you're giving the landlord £1,000 rent per month, and then you rent out the rooms £500 each. So that's £2,000 that you're getting in, £1,000 paying to the landlord. Then you pay the bills, which could be like £400, as it's normally £100 per person. So then that's £600 profit that you make on a monthly basis. But you just have to control the property over that amount of time. So that's like one form of rent to rent. The other form is like service accommodation. So same thing, you get control, give them guaranteed rent, but you rent out on a nightly rate. Rent out on a nightly rate for like £120 or something per night. You could make £120 times 30. I'm quick maths right now.
You're on the spot.
Okay, I think it's 3,600, I believe.
Okay.
I believe it's 3,600. But yeah, 3,600, take away the £1,000 rent, 2,600. Then you probably got bills like 600, 800. Then it should be around about 1,800 profit or something. So
it's good money. So you don't own the asset, where you can make cash flow from it. And why wouldn't they do it themselves? I'm a landlord. Why wouldn't I just...
So a lot of landlords, they don't really want to deal with the property. They just want the property and they want the income. They don't want to deal with like problems that can come from tenants. An example can be them calling you up in the middle of the night saying that they lost their key. This is true stories, right? This happens.
Oh my God.
Also, the tenants in the house, they might not get along with each other. So then you got to sort of babysit them, tell them how they gotta live. Some landlords, they don't want to deal with all of this stuff that comes with it. So they would rather just have someone that comes in, deals with it, gives them guaranteed rent, and then they're just there sitting, doing whatever they're doing with their family or whatever it is, and they're not having to worry about the property, right? They just got an asset that's paying them money. So,
but would you say it's not necessarily passive income though, is it? Because you're almost like a property manager.
Yeah. So it's not. So the rent to rent, it's not passive. It's not passive at the start, but you can make it passive in terms of when you get the systems in place. So, like for example, at the start, what I used to do was actually show everybody around the house when doing viewings. Also had to message people directly to actually get them in and arrange the viewings. Those things now, like I don't do it. I could, if I really wanted to, I wouldn't have to, you know, actually pay attention to who's coming in the house, because it's sort of been outsourced. But it's something that I have to still keep an eye on, though, to be honest. Because still I'm
it's your
responsible
responsibility,
for the house, so
Yeah.
I gotta actually know what's happening. But yeah, those kind of things, they can be outsourced, but it's not passive. Like, you still gotta, it's your responsibility. You gotta know what's going on, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay, so that's a good way to start. And then I know you do deal packaging as well.
Mm-hmm.
What is deal packaging?
Yeah, so deal packaging is essentially like finding a property investment deal for an investor. So say it could be a rent to rent, as we already explained, and then it could also be like a buy to let. So you buy a house and then rent it out, just like a deal like that. So essentially it's actually calling the agents, finding deals, stacking them up, and then pairing it with an investor that wants a certain amount of cash flow. They want a certain deal in a certain area. It's being that person that essentially brings a deal and the investor together, and then
that sounds easier to me. I think I'd do that, man.
Yeah, it is good to be honest. It takes time, because obviously you gotta do all of the work to get in the deal as well, in terms of like doing the calls, doing the viewings, actually stacking it up, and then find that investor and then bring them together. 100%. It is good because it's low. You're not having to risk a lot of money in terms of on a monthly basis, right? In terms of having to make a commitment to pay rent. But yeah, deal packaging, I think it's definitely good. It's a good way of like getting the income up, and also to actually get used to finding deals as well and building up your investor list, because in some deals, like even with rent to rents, you might need to raise finance, you know? Also, when going to buy your own house, you might need to raise finance as well. So you already got these investors, might be happy to work with you. So
I think this is a really big key, you know, because a lot of people struggle to get into property, man, because you need so much cash, especially because I'm from London. And the average house, you're looking at like maybe 300-400k.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
It's pretty tricky, man. If you can make the same amount of money, if not more, from rent to rent or deal packaging, it makes sense.
Exactly.
Definitely. Yeah. All right, cool. So just so we've defined that now, let's go back to the story.
Yeah.
Just loop back. So you got your first rent to rent deal, and then what happened after that?
Yeah, so that was the first one in Feb 2020, and then we got another 2 in June 2020. This was from letters, so landlord letters that go to people registered on the HMO license list. So yeah, I got another 2 there in Bristol, 2 5-bedrooms. And then we got another one in November, a 6-bedroom in Bristol. This was from following up a landlord for like over a year.
What? That's long, man.
So it goes back to the mindset thing in terms of like being resilient, right? A no now is not always a no later on. So, you know, follow up. There's gold in the follow up. So that was November 2020. And then August 2021, got another 2 rent-to-rent HMOs that we took on from one landlord. This was again from following up the landlord for over a year as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, at that point, that's when we sort of left. Well, I left my job because the income from the rent-to-rents, it was like it's covering it. And
how much were you making like per month?
Yeah, so profit-wise from the HMOs, it was around about 4.5k per month. So
mad.
like, and it was very stable as well. Like, except for when there was maintenance issues, right? This is one thing to remember as well. It's not always clean profit, because there's going to be maintenance bits that pop up as well. And this is why it's also like really good to remember to like have pots as well. But yeah, it's when there's no maintenance issues, it's normally around about 4.5.
But that's good money, man. Because if you're working a 9 to 5, you got to be on. I think 100k is around 5k a month after tax. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So like to make that kind of money from a 9 to 5 is hard, man.
Yeah.
And you've made that within what, a year?
Yeah. Was it a year? Feb
2019.
Yeah.
Was it less?
Nah, it's 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. 2019 is when we first started the academy, and then or 2021 is when we got the last 2 deals.
Yeah.
The HMOs.
Yeah. But for you as an accountant, you'd have to be pretty senior to make that kind of money, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
definitely.
That's good.
Yeah.
Cool. And then what happened after that?
Yeah. So after that, we was like, we really want to sort of like just scale it, get a lot more properties, get a lot more people involved, and so essentially after that, partnered with my sister. She was also doing rent to rent at the time. She was doing rent to service accommodation. So she started sort of at the same time. She got her first deal around the same time. We got our first deal as well, and she was doing really good with that, to be honest.
Nice.
I think she got to, I think it was like 2 or 3 units that she had, both making around about 1K profit as well. So it was like, you know what, it would be good to partner up together, because at the time, the thing that we was looking to do in terms of the scaling, we wanted to approach landlords and developers that had multiple houses rather than just getting one landlord or developer that had one house, right? So we wanted to acquire multiple units rather than one unit at a time.
Okay.
So we was coming across developers putting offers in, but the numbers wasn't working for them because we were still trying to do it on the HMO model.
Oh, developers of like what? Like apartment blocks and stuff?
Yeah, apartment
Okay.
blocks, also like multiple houses, like 5 houses in one go as well. Because this was an example actually. There was one developer, they had like 5 houses in Bristol, very close, very central. There was another developer, he had like 20 odd apartments, like a block of apartments that he had, but there was just a few that was available. And they was happy to do the arrangement that we wanted to do, right?
Okay.
It's just the offer that we put in, like it was
Too
very
low.
very low. Like when I was talking low, it's probably around about 40% below what they wanted, right?
Flipping
But
now.
this is the thing, it wouldn't have worked at the model that we want to do it at their rate.
Okay.
So we had to put those offers in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we was coming up against those, speaking to other people and saying, you know, these are the opportunities we're coming up against. And then someone was like, you know what? It would have actually worked as a service accommodation. So that's when, going back to partnering with my sister, we was like, okay, let's come together and let's make a service accommodation business and get these blocks of apartments and then do it like that, right?
Mad. So what was the so you're obviously good at the numbers and the financials, and she's good at design?
So she is good at design. She's always also good. She's a lot better at talking as well, right? She's very good.
Yeah, she's got good energy.
Yeah, very very good. And
You're good at talking as well.
Yeah, I've had to really like learn this though, you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she's a natural eye, right?
Is it?
Yeah, she's a natural, and she's very good with it. Just like the sales element of it as well.
Okay.
So, that's what she brought to the table. Also, the experience from like service accommodations in terms of the units that she was managing and setting up. We just sort of partnered together. She was focusing on the calls, like to agents. And after that, in October, we essentially acquired like six apartments in West Bromwich. We're in one of them right now. So this is one of them.
It's a very nice apartment.
Yeah.
I'll try and do a tour at the end, but it's really nice.
Definitely. Thank you. And that was 6. And then she's still doing the calls as well. And then we acquired 14 the month after in Slough. But
that was a big one that we saw on the channel.
Yes, the big one that was on Sam Lee's video.
Crazy numbers. We'll get into that.
Yeah, definitely. So that was that. But the way we sort of structured that as well, we got investors that are on board as well. So, like for example, these 6 units, 2 of them are under us. 4 of them are with investors. So this is where the deal sourcing comes into it as well, the deal packaging. So we effectively use the fees that we raised to set up our 2 units, and then they also put in the money to set up their units as well, right? So that's how we're able to keep on expanding.
Okay, so they get all the profit from their apartments, and you get the ones from your apartments. But
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then we manage the whole block. So then there's the management fee as well, right?
Wow.
So yeah, it's like it was a very like sort of smart way of putting it together, right? We learned this from it was James Murphy, like Opulent. They're the ones who do the training for this.
Yeah.
And do the multi-unit sort of approach as well. But yeah, that's how
And
that
did you
sort of worked.
did you manage all the apartments then for them?
Yeah, essentially.
Wow.
So yeah, manage the setup. We had a team that come in to do the setup in terms of like a furniture team. So it was like finding the right furniture team, keeping the budget as well. Setting up all the bills and stuff. All of that. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so that was that, and then
But also a lot of people, they might want a secondary source of income, but they don't want to, manage it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they might just be investors.
yeah,
So a lot of people will probably be interested in partnering with someone like you, who's
Yeah.
done it already.
definitely.
So it's quite a good proposition.
Exactly. So yeah, and that was like the main selling point to them as well, right?
Yeah.
So like a hands-off rent to service accommodation deal, because effectively, we're literally sourcing it, setting it up, and managing it, and there's so many things, so many moving parts. But for the investor, all they have to do is send the money for the rent and then receive the money for the payout. And
Okay, so how much money are we talking? So say like we wanted to make 2K profit a month.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of funds would someone need to like invest with you?
So to make 2K, effectively, you could make that from one deal or two deals. But what I'd say is probably, I'll say 2 to 3 deals. So, and one deal would be around about 7.5 to 10K all in, really. So you got like
For one
the sourcing
apartment?
fee. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So and that would be for like around about 750, 500 to like 1,000 profit for like one unit.
Okay.
So if they wanted 2,000, in total, you probably have to put in like 21 or 30,000. Yeah.
Okay. So the returns are higher than buy to let still, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you need less money.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's good on that side of things for sure. Yeah. And then I think one of the main things as well that you have to remember is just like seeing what the due diligence is as well that's been done, and also understanding the management that's going to be in place as well, and how they're going to achieve the numbers. Because that's definitely one important thing. You got to know like how it's going to be executed as well. Because if it's not executed well, then that's when things, they might not go to plan, and then you're sort of having to backpedal. But that's one thing to remember as well. Just looking at the due diligence, understanding that. And this is a great thing as well, actually, in terms of due diligence. We've actually got a free PDF, right, that they can use to actually see the high-performing service accommodation markets. We got this free PDF where it's like the high-performing, 5 high-performing SA markets, all right? And then we've got like great information on there as well. We've got like, for example, the location, the market grade, the average revenue, average nightly rate, average occupancy. Okay, it's very good information. And the thing is, when you look at that information, you can definitely make like thousands of pounds from that. Okay, and to actually get that information for those 5 markets, it would cost over £250, right? So right there already, there's so much value in it. But the thing is that I'm giving it away for free, right? But the thing that I'm also doing as well is I'm building my list. So I get the details. So I get your details, like your first name, last name, and your email address. And then what I'll then do is also like keep on adding value to you, and just to be intentional and to be transparent as well and honest. Like my main aim is to add value to you, and also do business with you.
So let's talk.
a different question.
Yeah, let's talk about the apartment block. How much did that cost you initially? And how much are you making a month?
Yeah. So for this one or the other one?
The big one, the
big one.
the 14 one.
Okay. Yeah. So
In terms of like overall, what's it turning over?
yeah. So in total, so the money that I had to go into it for the rent, it's like around about 985 per apartment. So that's already like 14K there. There was also a setup fee in terms of furniture. So that was like around about 3.5 per apartment as well. So yeah, 3.5 times 14. It's like 67. I wish I had a calculator. I'm doing some quick math right here, but 3.5 times 14. Talking.
All right, hold on. 3,500 times 14.
Yeah.
49 grand.
Yeah, so like 49k for the furniture. Then deposits, there was like 14 times 1195 that went into it as well. So like I think in total we probably went over
Plus 49. So that's 65 grand.
yeah.
That was a total. And that's obviously a lot of money. So like, how did you get that capital together? That's
yeah, it was a mission.
Were you scared as well?
Oh my days, yes. Literally, yeah. I was really scared, to be honest, because I mean, we just took on the 6 here, and then like the month later, it's like, oh, it's 14 in Slough. It's like, how are you gonna do that?
Because when I saw that on I think Samuel Lee's channel, I thought this guy's made it, man. And it's obviously there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah. So that went into it, and then in terms of like turnover, so the actual like forecasted turnover should have been around about 2.5. Was it 3? So it feels like 2.5 or 3 k per apartment.
Wow, times 14.
Yeah, times 14. So it should have been around like I think 60 or 50 or something.
3.5.
Yeah, 3.5.
Times 14. 49,000.
49. So yeah, so that was the forecast. But yeah, in terms of the startup from that, we had to bring the rates down to really get a lot of people in, to get the reviews up as well, so we can then keep on bringing the price up. So yeah, we're sort of at that price now in terms of what we want to be, but in terms of the profit as well, with it being at the price we need it to be at, and also the occupancy, so like around about like 120 plus per night, occupancy above 75%, probably talking around about 750 to $1,000 per unit in terms of profit.
So 14k a month.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And like some of the units they've hit those profit margins, to be honest. Some of the units they haven't hit that profit margin, so it's sort of
averaged out.
Averaged out more around about probably close to I don't know, like around some months they've been hitting 5 per unit, like 500 per unit. Some months has been a lot lower, to be honest, because as we said from the start, we had to focus on really bringing the prices down, to get the people in the door, understanding the customers, really perfecting the Let's Living experience.
It's part of the strategy. But I think as well, what's important is that you made this jump, man, because you know, opportunities come, but it's very scary to actually take them. You're like, okay, what if this works? Like, what if I'm not good enough? And to make the jump from where you were making 4 or 5k a month to 14 apartments, most people would be scared to do that, man.
Yeah,
so
you know what I'd say in the situation, I think because to be honest, it actually goes back to the first deal that I did, because I was pretty scared to go in with that deal as well. And like when I look at it now in terms of taking on the 14 and then going back to that first one, it's like it's comparative, because before you even get the first deal, you essentially you do not know what's going to happen, right? You're really taking that step into the unknown. So it comes back to that mindset and like actually making sure the resilience is there to be like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna make it work. Obviously, you got to make sure that done the due diligence and stuff in the area where it's out and all of that. But like still, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna happen. And as I said, going back to that first ever deal that I took on, I was pretty scared with that one as well. And now that I look back at it, I'm like, I don't know why I was, because with Bristol and the rooms there, like for every one room that's available, 6 people are looking for it. Like we already saw that data, but it's like at the time still scared, but now I'd be like, throw them my way.
Yeah, literally, man. But that's the mindset that you're talking about, like the fear of failure, man. You just completely locked it out, and you focus on what you wanted.
I wouldn't say I locked it out. It was definitely there, but
Okay.
I was like, go for it anyway. Feel the fear and go for it anyway. But
yeah, that's the key thing. So okay, so looking forwards now, what's like the future? What's the plan for the property business? Where are you trying to take it?
So the main mission really for Luxury Stays at the moment is to, like the mission that I said before, in terms of over delivering on the expectations of tens of thousands of guests by perfecting the Lux living experience. So realistically, we're still looking to scale the portfolio. We want to hit 200 units, to be honest. And we're really looking to push hard on the deal packaging side as well, because that's going to be a big part of the scaling to those units and really like perfecting the Lux living experience with the guests. And then, when we get to that side of things, when we start getting the consistent cash flow, we're going to go into developments. But right now, the first thing at the moment is really the deal packaging and then getting to the 200 units. Those are really the main things that we're focusing on at the moment.
So, okay, cool. That sounds good. And in terms of numbers, what are you making a year, and where do you want to be next year?
Yeah. So, okay. So in terms of,
you got that.
yeah. So in terms of the turnover from the last year, we turned over, it was like 750K from like the whole group of companies. So like the HMOs and the service accommodations. And then in terms of where we're looking to go and where we're going as well, definitely gonna hit the milli, to be honest. Definitely gonna hit the milli, gonna smash through that. The main aim is for it to get to like a couple mil. We want to really ideally smash through that, to be honest, but a couple for sure. And then profit margin like 20%, like 100%. Yeah, 100%. Because like there's, from what we've been through, all the lessons that we've gone through now, like we know what it is that we need to do and have in place. So
100%.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that you got really clear targets. And I think I was watching Grant Cardone, one of his videos, and he was saying that cash flow is king, but also having a target and knowing what your number is. A lot of people think, if I get to six figures, I'm well off. But really, if you break it down, especially if you live in London, it's not actually enough.
Yeah.
So you need to have a target and you need to work backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, to know what I have to do this month and next month. So it's pretty important.
Yeah, definitely. I think Grant Cardone is like a massive part as well of the journey, like just the 10x mindset, because I think if I didn't have that mindset, I probably wouldn't have pushed as hard to get the units on that we took on as well, and like to just push hard in terms of actually wanting to scale it. As you said, you gotta get down to the plan in terms of what needs to happen, how many calls to take, how many units you need to have, all of that. So
yeah. And I think his thing, because 10x, a lot of people wouldn't know what that is, but it's basically 10 times what your vision is. That's pretty much it. 10 times the work, 10 times the money. Just having a bigger mindset. And I feel like in the UK especially, we're quite limited. Like Americans can be quite corny, let's not lie, but they think big, man.
Yeah, 100%.
And we need to do that as well.
It's
we
the
can
American
achieve.
dream thing, sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That UK dream.
100%. Okay, cool. So I got the vision. I was going to ask you, in terms of rent to rent, what's like the key markets that you see? Because that's the biggest question that people think. What areas are good?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, so with HMOs, it's there's quite a lot of really good markets there. I think any town that has like any universities in them, most likely they're gonna work for HMOs. But like you can quickly tell if it's gonna work for HMOs if you look on Spare Room. That's where you see all of the rooms that are available, and also all of the rooms that all of the people that are looking for rooms. And the way that you tell there is you look at a postcode, see how many people are looking for rooms, see how many rooms are available. If the ratio is like 2 to 1, then there's demand, and it's gonna work for HMOs. So that's HMOs. If I was to say good markets in HMOs, I mean,
Can we get a list? A specific list? Have you got a list?
I'm gonna say Bristol. I don't want to say Bristol because everyone's gonna go to Bristol now.
Oh yeah.
But Bristol's definitely one. I'll say that 6-1 there. London is really good, to be honest. There's really good markets in London. Obviously London is a big place, so it's like, okay, what areas in London? But I mean, I was looking at Croydon literally yesterday because there's somebody that they want to deal in Croydon.
That's my area actually. I'm in Croydon, yeah.
So Croydon's really good. Like there's thousands of people looking for rooms, like around about 200 available. So demand
good.
is definitely there.
Do you know what? People in London hate on Croydon. They're like, it's not really London.
Yeah, oh really?
Yeah, man, but Croydon's a good area.
Yeah, no, it is. I haven't been there enough, to be honest, but it's definitely got the opportunities there.
Yeah.
Another list, I mean, off the top of my head, there's so many cities, to be honest. I'm trying to think of another good one. Coventry is good as well. Yeah, because it's got a uni there. Bath is good. There's a few cities.
Right, we got some gems. That's it. No more. You got to pay for the rest.
Yeah, pay for the rest.
Okay.
And then, service accommodations. I got a free PDF that will give you 5 markets. So
sick. We love it, man.
Download that and then you'll get 5 good cities.
Sick. Okay. And then just moving on, I wanted to do a little challenge with you just to wrap it up.
Challenge.
So basically, if you started with no money and I dropped you in the middle of, let's say, London now, how would you build up your network and how would you build up your portfolio? Like, how would you start from zero?
Ooh,
it's a tricky one.
That's a good one. So you know what? The first thing I'd do. So like, what would the target be in terms of the money? To
say you're trying to get
flow?
to 10. What's the financial reading? So let's say 3K a month.
Yeah.
After costs.
Okay. And I had no money.
No money.
Yeah. Okay. I would start with deal sourcing, to be honest. So first thing I'd do is get in a room where there's money. So, because the thing is, it's always, but when it comes to money, it's always who, right? So who has got the money, right? So you got to then find the investors. So get to a place where investors are. So probably be like, networking events, like property networking events, business networking events, maybe even places where like high net worth individuals are, like for example, some classy hotels, even some gyms as well, right? Like the high class gyms. That's why I go to David Lloyd,
Oh, you go to David Lloyd? Oh my!
Because I'm also networking with people there.
Yeah.
Still got some deals to do there, but yeah, do that, and then essentially just figure out like what do they want, like understand what their problem is, because most time they might not have time to find a deal. So it's about finding what deal do they want, and then once you got those specific things, then just go in ham with going to the agents, also to the landlords, finding the deals that they want. And one thing that can be done as well is getting so bespoke sourcing, right? So actually getting a fee down so you know that they're serious as well. They're not going to waste your time when you actually find the deal.
So
right?
before you start even searching, they're giving you the money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one thing, and that's just to show that they're serious as well, right?
Yeah.
So,
and you know what? There's a lot of people that have money, don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of investment opportunities.
Exactly.
So it's a good idea.
So that's definitely what I'd focus on doing, to be honest. And yeah, to get in that cash flow, from sourcing like free deals, you would easily hit that number, to be honest. And yeah, doing that a month, you could keep on running around doing these deals, sourcing them for the people. But then also from that money then that gets raised, could then put that into a rent to rent. But I would definitely focus on deal packaging.
Okay.
I would say that's the quickest way to get into it, to be honest.
That's a gem right there, man.
Yeah.
And is there any way that people can connect with you to like learn that?
Yeah, definitely. So I definitely like hit me up on like Instagram or Facebook. The Instagram is Troy.Badaloo. Facebook Troy Badaloo. Also on Twitter as well, YouTube. But the best way to hit me up is Instagram. And yeah.
Nice. We'll put all the links in the comment section.
Yes, definitely.
Sick. Lovely having you, man. First episode. I hope it was all right.
Yeah, it was amazing, man. Thank you for having me. I feel honored.
Nice. That's a wrap.